Welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host Saeed. I do want to thank you for joining us tonight. Now remember viewers, you can share our live stream, Real Talk with Saieed Ali, on Facebook, TT Real Talk on YouTube. So viewers, tonight it's Turn It Up Tuesday, and we're going to have a discussion tonight. As you all notice, I have no paper in my hand. So we are having a discussion tonight. We're discussing Tobago. So for those of you who are looking on television, call your friend, call your family, not yet. Call your friend, call your family, and let them know whether they are in Trinidad or Tobago, that we're discussing Tobago issue tonight. So viewers, we have some important things to talk about. In a report today, debate on a government motion to adopt a committee reported on Tobago's self-governance bill and Tobago Island Administration Bill began in the House of Representatives on Monday and continued on Tuesday. Now viewers, this bill is to give Tobago self-governance. I forgot the phone line. Get a switch. Is to give Tobago self-governance. Now viewers, our question tonight is, switch it on, Evan, take the calls. Can Tobago handle its self-governance? On Monday, in a media statement, through the PNM, Tobago Council, Davison Celestine accused the UNC and the PDP of disrespecting Tobagonians by not supporting the legislations. Davison Celestine, who was in Trinidad for the debate, further claimed that UNC and PDP were trading politics before people. Now, David Celestine told a media house, UNC is not qualified to speak about Tobago matters. Now, viewers, I want you all to understand something. I want to know from you tonight, people of Tobago, you can call in. Tonight we're going to have a discussion tonight. Can Tobago sustain itself? Can Tobago make their own laws? Can Tobago be self-governance? This is what I want to hear from you. Because from the beginning of time, it is known as Trinidad and Tobago. So if the government now decide to give Tobago its own power, are we going to still name it Trinidad and Tobago? Caller, good night. To you, my friend.
I am so tired and exhausted of all nonsense that is happening with this government that I refuse to say anything negative. I want to tell you something. Sometimes I will call you and I told you about Saieed Ali on the Carney Road heading to the Motor Vehicle Authority. And they blinded some material and some roads, but that after I mentioned it to you, the next day it was repaired. That was some time ago. I was telling about the pothole opposite Moda Live. Good. And I tell you that pothole is so bad that if you throw a hand grenade inside there, the hand grenade will get damaged. Anyway, after it was aired, after I had the opportunity to discuss it in your program, Saieed, I drive the next day and I almost get a heart attack, boy. You know they fix the road, they patch it.
That is production.
Saieed, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All the best. Have a good evening.
That is production. Well, today is Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday. Wednesday is public concerns. We have a packed show for you all tomorrow night. But tonight, before we discuss Trinidad tonight, we're discussing Tobago. Can Tobago handle its self-governance? Can Tobago make laws for itself? It's about 30 to 35,000 people in Tobago. We have 1.4 million people in Trinidad. And they cannot fix the crime. They cannot fix the borders. They can't put illegal drugs under control. They cannot put prostitution under control. They cannot even fix Trinidad. But you want to give about 30 or 35,000 people the authority to make their own laws, to govern their own country. How are we doing that? How are we doing that? If the present administration cannot control Trinidad, we don't even have proper road in Trinidad for 1.3 million people. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Why we give it to Tobago? Why we give them independence? Because Tobago is a parasite on Trinidad.
I understand.
Has been a parasite for 100 years or more. Okay? Everything, all the resources they're taking and the spending across it, give them independence and let them go. It's like a 45-year-old man living in your mother's house and living off your mother's pension. I want a party and you ain't working no way. Go your way. Right? Tobago is a parasite on Trinidad. Okay? And as for Rowley, I don't know how much longer he got teeth and
Thank you, my friend. On July 17th, borders will be open. Construction will start in Tobago on the airport. The government gave Tobago hoteliers $50 million for upgrades in Tobago. Did Trinidad get any? Did Trinidad get any? Can a hoteler in Trinidad call in and say how much money they got? Remember the zipline project in Tobago? What became of that? What became of that? The Prime Minister vowed for that individual. So we're talking Tobago tonight. We're talking Tobago tonight. Caller, good night.
Hi, good night, Mr. Said.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, I was always against it, but I feel honestly Tobago might do better without.
Okay, tell us why. At least give us a reason.
Because if we look at the simplest form as it is, it's that we have a lot of racism. Tobago, we will get that.
I understand.
And they will move forward from there. Yeah.
All right. I understand what you're saying. Thank you for your comments, my friend. Now, I've been to Tobago on many occasions, sometimes 3-4 times for the month I'm in Tobago. Tobago is nice. But why can't the government beautify Trinidad just as Tobago? Do you think Tobago would prosper because of the Prime Minister from Tobago, that he will only look at the economy and the building of Tobago and not Trinidad? Because after the end of the 5 years in administration, he is going back to settle down in Tobago because that's his home. That is where he built his multi-million-dollar palace. Caller, good night.
Good night. Calling from Tobago.
My friend, welcome.
But I hear a guy said Tobago is a parasite on Trinidad. Trinidad is a parasite on Tobago. Right now, we want to get rid of Trinidad because if he don't know history, right? He's just talking from ignorance of what's happening there with Raul and them now. Right? But he feeds all them oil that's in there in ours, you know. We supposed to get benefits from them oil that Trinidad is drilling big time than this little money, you know.
I understand.
Right? Trinidad, you who all the oils have the gold. Right? And we have the gold here. So if you don't understand history, and if you don't understand boundaries of the sea, let's go back in history book and it will come to Tobago because we have good mathematicians and good teachers here. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. So, see, viewers, we want to know, Trinidad and Tobago is one. Today, the UNC walked out of Parliament. Celestine says that the UNC have no authority to discuss Tobago matters. Caller, good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead.
Yes, Tobago, if you notice from A.N.R. Robinson time, he was a Tobagonian. He wanted to fix Tobago that he could have go for there and control it. It's the same thing like Rowley trying to do now. You understand? And as a psychologist mentioned, Tobago is well fixed, it's beautified. Why Trinidad can't be like Tobago? And anyhow you take it, Trinidad and Tobago is independence together, not separately. So we can't give Tobago an ex-independence. That didn't make it sense. And Tobago cannot control itself. It's because of Trinidad, Tobago is developed.
I understand.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, my friend. So, people, do you think Tobago can manage on its own? This is our discussion tonight. Keep in mind, the leaders from Tobago, keep that in mind. Keep in mind that Tobago got $50 million during the COVID-19 pandemic for the hoteliers to beautify Tobago. Keep in mind that the airport is about to, the construction is about to start in Tobago. Does the UNC, does the opposition have the authority in Parliament to debate matters of Tobago? But the thing is, can Tobago govern itself? That is our main question tonight. Can Tobago handle it tonight? What sort of production does Tobago have to sustain itself? What type of growth does Tobago have to live on? What type of economy does Tobago produce that it could sustain itself? Caller, good night.
Good evening, sir.
My friend.
This whole situation here around Tobago, you know the sad part about it? We have the most illiterate sort of people discussing this to move forward, to put any sort of decision that would make sense, that would benefit Tobago or Trinidad. Now, if we have the right type of people, the economists, the financial experts, the people who really know about tourism and how to make Tobago autonomous on its own, then you can move forward. It's ignorance that is taking place in Parliament, where people coming up with their own agenda and trying to move this motion forward. There's no way this going anywhere. I could guarantee you that. Now, Tobago is a place that will be self-sufficient on their own if they are allowed to do that on their own. And that takes legislation, it takes a lot of support Trinidad to give them that autonomy to move forward, and then they could start. It's kind of like you leaving your father's house to go somewhere else. If you just leave and go to our next house, you might want to run and come back within a few days, but your father going to support you for a while until you get your bearings, until you get the foot. But it needs management. It needs people to enforce and to ensure that accountability is done in the things that needs to be done. Like if they need to put up infrastructure to like bring goods and resources from other countries to make trading on their own with other countries. All these things have to be managed and carefully planned and orchestrated and supervised and made for the number one thing. You have to have accountability and you have to have the right people involved in it. You see this bunch of nonsense that is in Parliament right now discussing this. It's only argument, discrimination, and you know, no substance really will be coming out of it. And I can see right now this just going to fall apart, and we'll be right where we started again. And it's the same thing, no accountability for the money that Tobago will be getting, and we will just be keep on supporting them, and they will see that how they could go on their own, and it will just be too and fro. Nothing going to come up. Have a good night, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, my friend. Now, a simple thing. Look at this zipline project. Is this zipline project working? Is it a tourist attraction place that we could go to visit? Even a Trinidadian could go to visit? Is that project functional presently? Call a good night. Go right ahead.
Forget all the politics aside, right?
Yes.
What about the electricity that going across the Tobago?
That
Tobago brings their own electricity.
I understand what you're saying.
What about the water? With that, they have to get their own water treatment plant. When they get to the water from, the water is in Tobago and electricity is going to Tobago. And the pipeline under the ocean, let Tobago get their own power source. Thank you.
I understand. Valid point. Well said. Well said. Zipline project, they couldn't give an account for that. The Prime Minister had to step in and vouch for an individual. Just imagine that. Tobago is about 30 to 35,000 people. Call her good night.
Good night.
Go right ahead, my dear.
Okay, just one question from Tobago, right? Just one correction, right? Since our last, but Tobago has at least like 60,000 persons in Tobago, and it's like everybody who's stated on their show.
I didn't hear what you said clearly.
Okay, one correction. Tobago has at least 60,000 persons.
Oh, 60,000.
Yes.
Okay, okay, thank you, thank you.
Okay, I think that Tobago, what we got in Tobago here is undermined. I would also say how Tobago isn't any parasite to Trinidad. Neither are we any stepchild of the country. And I think how well the PHA has different functions that help the island to help to look beautiful and all these kind of things. So that is my contributions on the show tonight.
And where are you calling from, my dear?
From Tobago.
Thank you so much. You see, this is why we have in the discussion. Because we want to know, can Tobago self-govern itself? You see, they are having their discussions in Parliament. They are having it in Parliament. But what about, now that's a discussion. What about the reality of actually doing it? How long will it take for Tobago to sustain itself? Totally separate from Trinidad. How long will it take? 5 years, 10 years, a year? Call her good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead.
Next point I want to make. When David Leslie says UNC has no comment to make about over there. How many years the said they was going to build the hospital? And who built the Scarborough Hospital? Tell David Celestine answer that question. Thank you.
I understand what you're saying. You see, yes, they are having the debate. But how much will it cost? How much will it cost for Tobago to be on its own? Caller, good night.
Oh, you're going to tell me when I'm on?
You're live on Real Talk. Go right ahead. Hello?
Uh-huh.
You're live on Real Talk. Go right ahead.
Go right ahead.
Yes. Yes.
I just want to make a little contribution to the Tobago thing. Before I been in Tobago, we had a big cooperative, and we had cabanas and hotels up there. We buy land to build up there. And when hotel charge get to understand it, people that come in to open that big cooperative, they demolish everything. I've been to Tobago many times. I pay my way through and everything. When I go there, the lady just tell me, and she tell me and my wife, she don't like Indian people, we don't like Indian people. We only like the money. You understand?
I understand.
So, they're people different. They don't like their own people who come here to reside in Trinidad. When they go back to Tobago, they don't appreciate their own neighbors or anything when they go up there. Because I've been there, I see it on my own self. And I'm so glad I get through in your thing. But you're only talking about Tobago, so I can't really go where else. But I have many more things to talk about Tobago. Because when they ask me, I hate to use this word, what are you doing in Tobago? I say, we come to buy all the land. They get real pissed off for that.
I understand what you're saying.
So don't treat me like that. You depend on we money. We Indian people are going to spend we money over there.
Thank you, my friend. But we're not discussing race. I am not of the race gender thing. But I understand what you're saying. But how long will it take? They're having a debate. They want to give Tobago self-governance, to make their own laws, to do their own thing. But how much will it cost? How much will it cost? Where will their funding come from? Will it come from Central Bank in Trinidad? Because if Tobago creating their own laws, they have to have their own central bank. They have to have their own police administration. They have to have their own fire department. They have to have their own water department. They have to have their own tea and tech department. How much is it going to cost the Treasury of Trinidad to give Tobago this leadway? How much? Yes, you want to give them, but are you looking at figures? Are you looking at the span of year? How much is it going to cost? Caller, good night.
Hi.
Go right ahead. You're live on Real Talk.
Yes, Said. I want to make a little point to you. You said, you asked the question, does the leader of the opposition, does she have any authority to speak about Tobago and Tobago affairs? Well, as far as I know, she is the official opposition leader for Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
So the issue of her authority and her responsibility to speak on Tobago, that is without question, because she is the official leader, elected by over 300,000 people. Now, there is this narrative in Trinidad by the PNM and maybe in Tobago that the opposition has no authority to speak about anything, right? And everything is about Rowley and the PNM. And they seem to have some commentators in Trinidad who are experienced, qualified men who seem to be communicating that to the population. So those persons who may not have the experience, who may not have the education, may not have the knowledge, they're being influenced by these people who are PNM stooges, and they are not giving to the opposition leader the opportunity to make the kind of contribution that she's supposed to make. Take a look at what happened today in the Parliament. They flouted the laws. Now, instead of the whole country saying, listen, we cannot accept this. This is the time of COVID. You ask the population to be disciplined. And you being indisciplined in the Parliament. You tell us, follow the laws. Wash our hands, wear our masks, tra-la-la-la-la. And you're not following the laws. You make a law. There's to be no extension of time for the Speaker. And you come and flout it. And the issue here is, does the leader of the opposition have any authority? Of course she does. Our taxpayers' money is the money that is funding Tobago. So I just wanted to respond to that. Not only does she have the authority, she has a responsibility, and she must be given that opportunity to say what she has to say, but in a systematic fashion. Rowley and they cannot come and make laws and break laws and change laws, right? And attack these people as though they don't have any authority in the country. Over 300,000 people voted for this, and we want to hear what our party has to say, not only what they have to say. So when you have a show like this is an important show, because this is where we have an opportunity. You heard what a Tobago caller said?
Yes.
Go and read your history. But we know that Tobago is developed, and Tobago is doing whatever it is. All that $50 million that they got in COVID, where they get that money from? Tobago taxpayers. So this talk about that we don't have a right to say what we have to say about Tobago is wrong. So I am going to leave it there for the moment, because there's a lot more that I could say. But I just want to say, your show gives us a voice. Because in Parliament, not even the opposition has a voice.
True,
So
I understand what you're saying. Thank you so much, my friend. Celestine said to our media house that the UNC, the leader of the UNC, or we will just leave it at the UNC, they are not qualified to discuss Tobago matters. Why? Celestine is from Tobago. She came to Trinidad to have a debate, and that is what she was saying to the UNC. So I want to say now, let's step back a little bit. When the UNC was governing Trinidad and Tobago, why didn't that statement be made back then? Call her good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead.
You're asking how long it'll take and where they're going to get the money from, right? For them to be independent, right? Why should the Trinidad Central Bank get involved with that? They have to go outside the IMF and to the States or China, wherever to get them. Why they have to depend on Trinidad Central Bank? If they want to go independent, let them find their own money. But they have to print their own money too to get to self-govern the place. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. You see, this is a big thing, you know. This is a big thing, you know. They're talking about giving Tobago self-governance. But the bigger picture behind it is how much will it cost? And who would be funding that? Who would be funding it? That is what I ask just now. Is the central bank going to support Tobago going on self-governance for how long? Like the caller said, 60,000 people. 60,000 people. And I thank her for calling in and giving us the exact figure. I am not too big to apologize, you know. I am not too big. So 60,000 people in Tobago. Can they manage it? Can they, without help from Trinidad? Since Trinidad and Tobago is one? Caller, good night.
Yes, hi, good night.
Go right ahead, my friend.
I see you discussing the whole Tobago matter, right? Now, is it that Tobago going to financially support itself? Because it can't want independence from Trinidad, and then every year we are getting $3 billion and $4 billion.
Correct.
All kind of thing. And my question is, right, the population of Shogunas West, just saying, we probably have just the amount of people as Tobago. Why Tobago needs so much money to run that little island for a year? Why do it need so much money? Is it people just need to siphon the money and put rope in place and all kind of things? I don't know, just asking a question, right?
I understand what you're saying.
But came out though, this whole thing about where Celestine saying about the UNC, how it is she could come across here and say that UNC have no matters in Tobago business. So why we need a prime minister from Tobago coming and running we country and selling out all we assets to China? That's fair?
I understand.
We should have a Tobago man coming across here selling out we assets. But we people across here can't talk about Tobago. They're talking garbage, man. With Camille Robinson, Reggie's talking, they wish she feel is in sponsor. she coming and telling we have to start stripping it and explaining. You're trying to explain a lie and you're fumbling on yourself. You just imagine you on a media conference and you explaining a lie. You're lying on a media conference. And then you can't even lie because you're fumbling on yourself to say what you're trying to lie and say. I don't get it, Saeed. It's really ridiculous. And we can better swallow that, then. All right, Saeed. Good night. Enjoy your night.
Thank you, my friend. You and the family be safe. So you see, viewers, there's a lot of questions behind it. They are having a debate, yes. But are they looking at the figures? How much will it cost? Where will that funding come from? Is that funding coming from Trinidad to Tobago? Nothing wrong with having our own governance, you know. Nothing wrong with it. But where is your funding coming from? Is it coming from Trinidad? Can you sustain yourself? Do you have the ability? Do you have the growth? Do you have the production? Do you have the capacity? Caller, good night.
Yes,
Go right ahead.
Good time. For months I'm trying to get it. Thank God, inshallah.
Okay.
I mean, you know, you is number one, because that's whatever that you want, right? But I have a problem. You're talking, everybody's talking, but we're doing nothing. You remember what happened in America with this Kennedy fella years ago? When we threw him out and assassinated him? Come on, we need something here. Nothing is happening. What are we doing, man?
Thank you, my friend, for your comments. You see, this is what we're looking at. Is the Prime Minister going to allow funding from Trinidad go to Tobago to make their own laws and to self-govern themselves? Because if you cannot, being the Prime Minister of Trinidad, if you cannot sustain Trinidad, are you going to take funding from Trinidad to sustain Tobago? This is what we're talking about. How much will it cost Trinidad to sustain Tobago? Probably 5 years, for 10 years? How many hotels in Trinidad got financed during the COVID-19 pandemic? How many? How many? Caller, good night.
Hi, good night.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, the reason why the UNC cannot take part in Tobago's affair. First, UNC has to bring back all those millions of dollars they had stolen from Trinidad and Tobago. You understand?
Thank you, ma'am. But see, I know how if we had a document to say, well, UNC stole 10 million or 20 million or 30 million, we could have said so. But talk of the town. Talk of the town, that is mouth say. Unless you have proof, it's a different thing. That is why when I come here on my platform, what I present to you is proof. Proof coming out from the horse's mouth itself. The individual themselves. So you cannot say, well, you know, each side did say so and no side did not say so and so. Side is telling you what so and so said and I'm backing it up. So that is the difference. It's not mouth say with me. It's facts I bring into you. It's facts I bring into you. Caller, good night.
Sorry, it's good night.
Go right ahead.
Is it true to say that our Prime Minister had purchased the new ferries to give it to Tobago and Trinidad will have to pay for it?
You see, that is our next thing. Thank you, my friend. That is our next thing. So this is what we're discussing tonight. Tobago. Can there be self-governance in Tobago? Do they have the capacity? Do they have the production? Do they have the sustainability to govern themselves? We have 1.3 million people, 1.4 million people in Trinidad and Tobago. And just imagine, Petrotrain closed down. Just imagine that. They want to privatize the port. This is 1.3 to 1.4 million people in Trinidad. And the port have to be privatized. Petrotrain closed down. So just take an example from Trinidad. With 1.3 to 1.4 million people. Do you think Tobago can do it? This is a discussion we're having tonight. We're not condemning. We're looking for a solution. I want to hear what you have to say. Caller, good night.
Very good evening again, Mr. Said.
Yes, my friend.
I wasn't planning to call, but that lady who just called, I am going to be respectful, don't worry. That lady who just called, that lady has to be a ridiculous idiot. I can tell you why. Woman, if you have proof that you UNC thief X amount of dollars, take it to the police.
I would say the same thing. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
You see, this is why I just have to clarify things, I just have to clarify it. So this is what we're looking at, viewers. Can they sustain themselves? With water, with electricity, with food, with production, with growth, with sustainability, with NIS, with BIR, with all these things? Caller, good night.
Good night, sir. Good night.
Go right ahead. You're live on Real Talk.
The second fella will talk about how we have to pay for Tobago.
Yes.
Keep them alive and whatnot. I now get to realize something, where that fella said it. This Rowley man, sucking out Trinidad, he's drinking out the milk from the cow, and here, no grass here. And we suffering, he shut down Petrotrain, he's going to make sure he flatten Trinidad, and make sure he put high-rise in Tobago, and have them looking blooming nice like diamond, and we there like a lump of nothing. That's what he's doing, he's sucking Trinidad, and he's putting it across there, and not realize what that man's saying. It's true.
Thank you, my friend. See, viewers, we are back talking, we're having a discussion. This is the views of the people. This is Real Talk. This is the #1 current affairs program where we deal with the issues and how we're dealing with it. Because it is an issue. Now, if Tobago gets self-governance through the government, I will ask myself, will TNT cut the power line? Would WASA stop sending water to Tobago? Is Tobago going to build a desal plan? And how much is going to cost? And where are they going to get the money from? Where are they going to get the funding from? What resources do they have presently that the IMF would hold? Or is the government planning? Is the government planning that when Tobago gets self-governance, they will take a loan from Central Bank in Trinidad? But what sort of, how to say it, collateral does Tobago have? Caller, good night. Hello?
Hello?
You're live on Real Talk. Go right ahead.
Good night. China, we running Tobago.
China. I understand what you're saying. Thank you, my friend. No, but look at it. What collateral does Tobago have to take a loan? What? How can they govern themselves? What are they putting in place to govern themselves? To start with, sustainability of the country, the economic growth. This is what you need to start with. The economic growth, the sustainability, something to create money. Do Tobago have it? I'm just asking. Caller, good night.
Good night, sir.
Go right ahead.
And now Tobago is just 60,000 people living in Tobago, roughly. Saguana Corporation is more than that. And Tobago does get $5 billion every year for the budget.
what you call, no sort of information coming up. Because the government is taking money and giving to them in Tobago, who feeding them. Where is the expenditure? Where is the income in all of this? And you're raising a good point there as regards to how they're going to feed themselves. We are saying in 1977, Tobago calling for cessation, you know, in 1977. And up to now, the PNM keep dragging them on, You know why? If the PNM do it, Tobago can't carry on their own self, you know. We're going to watch and see how the Trump card playing out with Dr. Roy and the people of Tobago. I thank you.
Thank you, my friend. So like I said, nothing is wrong with having the discussion. Nothing is wrong. Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley, said they are not going to shut down Petrotrin. Boom shot 5,000 or more people was on the breadline that worked in Petrotrin. So, Camille Robinson Regis, they are having discussions of giving Tobago self-governance. Now, if these people in this administration could not govern Trinidad, and they want to separate themselves from Trinidad to Tobago, is Tobago going to have its own prime minister? Is Tobago going to have its own attorney general to make law or laws? Call it good night.
Good night, Said. Excellent program.
Thank you.
I would like to know if $50 million was given to hotels. I didn't know COVID was a hurricane, and we would like to know how much hotels got how much money. If so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, my friend. You see, let me tell you something. It's real discussion, you know. This is real planning, you know. Real planning, you know. Just imagine, the health minister of Trinidad and Tobago could not even roll out a proper vaccination plan. Is Tobago going to have its own government? Because we have a health minister in Trinidad, I would say Trinidad, that couldn't even come up with a proper formula to vaccinate citizens. Come out and go to the health center and get your vaccine. 2 days after, he apologizing to the public of Trinidad. Call it good night.
Good night, good night.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
What I'm saying is Tobago want to get self-government because they know that they have oil in their waters. So what they depend on that, they will get the oil right out of $5 billion every year. They could run the country that.
I understand what you're saying. Thank you, my friend. Let me tell you something. That should not even be a discussion in the parliament. Take what I tell you earlier. That should not even be a discussion. So what are we going to do? We're going to separate Trinidad and Tobago, and we're going to say Trinidad, and then Tobago will say, well, we are Tobago, like Grenada, St. Vincent, Guyana. Are they going to say that? Are they going to cut off Tobago from Trinidad completely? Because if they have self-governance and their own laws, which means they are no longer governed under Trinidad. They no longer follow the laws of the land that is concerning Trinidad. They are no longer under the government of Trinidad. They are no longer under the sustainability of Trinidad. They are no longer under the central bank or monetary funding in Trinidad. Understand what I'm saying, people. Call her good night.
Hi, good night, Miss Ali.
Go right ahead, my dear.
3 points I would like to make if you will just give me the chance. Please.
Sure.
Congratulations on obtaining your license. And I'm looking forward to banking with you in your credit union. I was waiting to call you so much yesterday.
Okay.
Right. My points are, one thing I could say, the Right Honorable Prasad Bissessa did not leave anybody hungry during her time in government. That is one thing we could surely see. She took very good care of the country. So whether she thief or not, she did her job. She's not doing what they are doing now. Right? Rowley is planning what he's doing. He's planning for Tobago. Everything is for Tobago because that's where he will be going. He already put things in place. He already opening up hotels and doing everything for his benefit and for the Chinese government to come and take over everything. He and the 1% is doing that to the country. Another thing is, Celestine, one thing I could say is Ms. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, the sense and the common sense that she has and the intellect that she has, Rowley and his whole government can't even fit in her shoe because she knows the law. So don't feel that you could come and tell her that you want 90 minutes when you should be only given 20 minutes. So you know the law. The right thing is the right thing, and we have to stand up in this country for our rights. And because of the pandemic, Rowley is taking advantage of it and passing laws left, right, and center. Because you know what? He knows we can't come to the streets. We can't come and demonstrate. We can't light fire, no way. And that is what he's doing. He's taking advantage of the situation. And that is what's happening here.
Thank you, my friend. You see, I will tell you something. You know why I just listen to people? You know why I just give them that time? Because their voice matters. Their voice matters. And you know why I'm saying that? Every 5 years, you know what matters to the government or to a party that wants to govern Trinidad? You see the first inch in your finger? Bring it up here, Shane. You see the first inch in your finger? It matters to the ruling party and the party that wants to govern. This little inch in your finger, it matters every 5 years. So that is why I give the callers their time to speak, because their views are important. It is important to me, and it is important to Trinidad and Tobago also. Because why? We live here. We could demand better. We could demand justice. So how much is it going to cost Trinidad? I'm asking the government this. How much is it going to cost Trinidad for Tobago to be self-governance, and how long is it going to take? Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night, Saeed.
Go right ahead.
Wait now, so just now we might have to get a visa to go to Tobago?
You got to get passport just now.
But all right, I think too, them studying all about that Tobago to spend all that money, right? But why they can't study to get the vaccine for we?
I understand. Correct. Well said. Well said.
All that money they study to state to spend all day, why they can't get the vaccine?
And according to the, thank you caller, and according to the finance minister, they have money to buy vaccine. And according to the health minister, we have money to purchase vaccine. Are you forgetting or what? Are you forgetting real talk? Caller, good night.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Go right ahead.
Sorry, I call him back again, but I just want to just that woman who called and was talking about the UNC just now, right? I have nothing bad to say, but when you're talking about them kind of allegations and things, or they must have facts.
Correct.
Now, we looking at the bigger picture here, right?
Yes.
Who it is at the country under all the strain and pressure, and people can't take it no more. For the latest while now, you're hearing this thing about non-disclosure agreement.
Yes.
You know it's a non-disclosure agreement, right? That's all PNM doing. So who keeping millions in PNM side? They're keeping billions. And who's the people have for their line up like dog outside the health center to get vaccine? UNC?
I understand.
One side.
Thank you, my friend. You see, that's why when you hear somebody say something, I just had to come out and apologize on that person's behalf, because you could call and talk, but do you have proof to back it up? That is why when I come here, and I'm saying it again, that is why when I come here and I start my program, every video clip, every document, there is proof. And you, the citizen, could understand that and could see that, because for the last 3 and almost a half years I'm on television. It's just proof and proof and proof and documented proof. Caller, good night. Hello?
Hello?
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
Hi, good night, Mr. Ali. I'm sorry I had to call back. I have one more point that I would like you to just give me that second, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Mute your television, please.
Predecessor is the opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago. It's not Trinidad alone. So
Correct.
she has a right to talk about Tobago as well. She has that right because she's representing people in Tobago as well.
Correct, correct.
But just as Mr. Rowley is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, even though he lives in Tobago, same way Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar is the opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago. And I think that Tobago, if they want to do self-governance, just break it off. The water already separating us. We don't need to help you. If you want to help yourself, go ahead. And Rowley could go ahead and be the Prime Minister of Tobago because that's his plan. That is what he's planning to do. Thank you, Sally. That's my contribution.
Thank you, my dear. This is a big discussion. This is a big discussion. You're talking finance. You're talking sustainability. You're talking growth. You're talking production. You're talking economy. You're talking NIS. You're talking NIB. You're talking factories. Do they have it? And how long will it take to reach in that position of self-governance? You just can't say, well, okay, let's create our own laws. No, it can't work like that. It cannot work like that. Caller, good night.
Good evening again, Mr. Sai.
Yes, my friend.
Right. People have the opinion to voice whatever they want to say. It could be factual, it could be not. But when you see you're making statement, you have to have a certain amount of judgment in your statement that you make.
Yes.
Now, people will say the UNC thief out all the money. That's their opinion. It could be right, it could be wrong. But when you support a government that for over 30 years they were in power non-stop, and the same people that supported them and they represent, you see the condition and the lifestyle that these people live under up to now, and they have not improved one bit in their lifestyle. Instead, they were driven more and more into poverty by the government they say is so honest and so caring and so worthwhile. It is amazing that for the 5 years that another government was in power, they could have done so much that you could see in the country physically and still thief. And you had a government that didn't thief anything, that was so honest and decent to the people of the country, and all the people they represent is in the position they are in, begging with, looking for hampers, and cannot even own a home or have a proper living in their lifestyle. And these are the people who would come and say that, oh, you thief or I thief, but they're not looking at their own self. That's where they should be looking. Look at the man in the mirror first and ask, how have you benefited from the government that you supported for over 50 years? Look at where we are today. That is where they need to ask themselves. Have a good night, Mr. Sai.
Thank you, my friend. You see, that statement, well said. Well said. When you look at yourself for the last 10 years and see where production have taken place. What part of the 10 years did you see production? And then you would know. Then you would know what government can run a country and what government would break the country. So our discussion tonight, can Tobago sustain itself? Because in Parliament they are debating to give Tobago self-governance, own laws, own credibility, own production, own business, their own economy, sustain themselves. But who is going to pay for it? Where is the funding coming from? So this is what I want to ask Ms. Camille this. Because since the opposition cannot talk about Tobago matters, I want to ask Celestine, where is that funding coming from to give Tobago self-governance? And I want to ask Ms. Camille also, Where is Tobago going to get the funding from? Are they going to get it from central bank? What collateral does Tobago have to hold? Trinidad, we had Petrotrin, our main source of foreign exchange, and it was shut down because of non-performance of the board. Heritage Petroleum was birthed when Petrotrin shut down. The company made $1 billion profit. $1 billion profit, and where's Petrotrin? Where's Petrotrin? Just imagine a new board come in and make $1 billion, and Petrotrin couldn't make that. Petrotrin board couldn't make that. Eh? That is facts. Think about it. You think about it. So who is going to sustain Tobago? That is a big discussion. Where are they going to build electricity plant, and who's funding it? Who's funding WASA in Tobago? Who's funding Tiantec in Tobago? Is Tobago going to have its own administration of police? You see, these are the things. It's not just give Tobago self-governance. Who's funding Tobago to start with, Camille? So this is questions that need to be answered. Okay, you're debating. Okay, we're gonna give Tobago self-governance. Let them make their own laws. Let them make their own judgment. Nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with that. I am going to give Navin, my audio guy, one night on this platform. Highlight the issues that is facing Trinidad and Tobago and answer to the callers appropriately when they call. My question to Navin is, Navin, can you do it? What discussion are you going to have? Can you stand firm and answer the callers? Can you give them a proper answer? That is just an example. You're giving Tobago self-governance. Start with finance. Start with finance. Start with sustainability. Start with growth in the economy. Start with planning. How long is it going to take? We had the health minister in Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Terrence Yard, saying 6 years running health. Well, approximately. Approximately 6 years running health in Trinidad and Tobago. You all can go out and get your vaccine. 2 days after, he apologized to Trinidad and Tobago that their plan was faulty. He did not specify to Trinidadians that it's only 50 vaccine per health center. You kept back the information. So you made Trinidad look like a total fool. Trinidadians are fool. And then the Prime Minister will come up and say, well, you know, it's my fault. Wow. Minute? So viewers, we have 1 minute on our show tonight. I do want to thank you for joining us. I do want to thank you for your input in our discussion tonight, where we discuss the issues of Tobago and self-governance. Every caller, their point is valid. Because on election day, your finger dipping in that ink and putting it by that X, it is valid. It is valid. So viewers, we are out of time for tonight. Keep in mind, tomorrow is public concerns night. We're dealing with road, we're dealing with bridges, we're dealing with drainage, we're dealing with the councillors not coming to the area, the MP not visiting. Get ready to call from 7 to 8 p.m. Wednesday night, where we have public concerns night right here on Real Talk with Saieed Ali on Synergy Network. So viewers, until we meet again, be safe, sanitize, wear your mask when you're outside. Thank you for joining us.